Wait, can you see? Okay, good. Okay, let's get started with it. Okay, so just now, like I told you, right? You remember we learned about sine, cos, and tangent, right? So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, right? And then cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent, right? And then the four quadrants that I told you about, remember it goes in the anti-clockwise direction, right? So first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and fourth quadrant. So for trigonometric ratios, you need to know in which quadrant is sine positive or cos positive or tangent positive. Okay? So in the first quadrant, all sine, cos, and tangent are positive. In the second quadrant, only sine. The third quadrant, only tangent. Okay? And the fourth quadrant is only cos. Right? So to remember this, you think like this, all science teachers crazy. Alright? Yeah, where are the others? Yeah, okay. So now, if we look at the angle in the different quadrants, right, you will see that the angle will be here, 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 and here for your basic angles. Okay? So for your basic angles, remember that basic angles always acute, right? And it always starts from the x-axis, meaning from here go up to the line where your it meets the line, and then here same thing, go up to the line, same here and same here. Okay, so there are two angles you need to know. The first one is the basic angle, the second one is your theta. For your theta, we will always read from the first quadrant, right, x-axis up to the line that where you draw your theta. Okay, so here to here will be your theta, right? Always start from the x-axis from the first quadrant up to the line. So here will be your theta. That follow? And then same, this one start from here all the way until the line here, theta, and here all the way, here will be your theta. Can follow or not? That's your corresponding theta to your basic angle. Okay, I need you to write your notes, huh? Okay, while you are drawing, right, in this first quadrant, right, your theta is the same as your basic angle. Okay? But for this quadrant, the second quadrant, your theta is here until here. Therefore, and this is your basic angle. So you have to take your 180 minus your basic angle to get your theta. Okay? And then for your third quadrant, right, your basic angle is here. Therefore, your theta will be 180 plus your basic angle. For your last one, in the fourth quadrant, you will take 360 minus your basic angle in order to get your theta. What if the angle is 270? If it's 270, then Yeah, you can take it as your third or fourth quadrant also, it doesn't matter because you will still get the same answer. Daniel, what don't you understand? Basic angle is basically the angle that starts from your x-axis to whatever this angle is that they ask you to find. Anti-clockwise from the horizontal line, yes. Okay, to answer your question with how, right, the basic, the theta always starts from the horizontal line, that means your x-axis, in the first quadrant, all the way until the line that you draw your angle. Why basic angle? Because your basic angle is an acute angle, right? All the other angles, right, your theta, will be, it can exceed more than 90 degrees, or it could be, it could not only be an acute angle, it could be an obtuse angle, it could be a reflex angle. So in order to get the value of that theta, we use the corresponding acute angle to get it. No, basic angle is not the same as theta except for in quadrant 1. Basic angle for the last one, what do you mean? Which last one? There is a difference, what? Okay, so if you look, right, like I said, if you look over here, right, from the x-axis, if you read up to here, this is your basic angle, correct? That is also your theta for the first quadrant. But if it's the second quadrant, right, I told you that the basic angle always starts from the x-axis to the line that where you draw your angle. So here will be your basic angle, but your theta always starts from the x-axis in the first quadrant, anti-clockwise direction. So this is your theta. So if you want to find this theta, you have to take 180, which is a straight angle, minus your basic angle to get your theta. You see there is a difference. Zheng Hong, because there is no basic angle for that. I mean, if it's 270, that will be 90, but then 90 is not a acute angle. Anyway, they won't ask you that. Okay? So, see, there is a difference. And then this basic angle also same. It starts from the x-axis, right, to the line that you draw your angle. So, like I said, this is your basic angle. And then theta always starts from the x-axis in the first quadrant all the way until the line that you draw your angle. So this entire thing is your theta, right? Not the same as your basic angle. Alright? And then last one also same thing again, start from the x-axis to where you draw the line for your angle. So this is your basic angle, but your theta will always start from x-axis on the first quadrant all the way until the line there. Can follow or not? They are corresponding to each other. They are not equivalent except for in the first quadrant. Yes, yes, yes. Okay or not? Okay, follow? And actually in your slides, they explain to you why the sine, cos, and tangent are positive or negative. In your slides, they explain to you why the sine, cos, and tangent are positive or negative. In tangent is positive, right? And then for hypotenuse, right, we always take it as neutral, or either like or we take it as no positive, no negative. So if you take opposite over your hypotenuse, which is your sine, you also get a positive, right? And if you take adjacent over hypotenuse, again, you will get positive. But for here, if your angle is over here, right, then the triangle is over here, correct? So if we take using your basic angle, you will take your opposite, let's say, okay, this is your opposite, this hypotenuse and this adjacent, right? So if you take your opposite over adjacent, which is your tangent, you will get a negative, right? Because this is positive, this is negative, therefore your tangent will be negative, right? Your tangent will be negative. And then if you take for, let's say your cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, right? So I told you, here is what? Negative. And then here is neutral. So your cos is also negative. And then for sine, opposite over hypotenuse. So opposite is positive. This is, let's say, neutral. So you get positive. So that explains why we get a positive or negative value for that quadrant. Okay? You all clear? Okay, if you are done, I want to go through some examples to make sure that you get what I'm saying. Alright, are you all done copying? I'm going to erase. Okay. Okay, you ready? Okay, so if you look right, let's say they tell you your theta equals to 217. So we know that it will lie in the third quadrant, right? Okay? And then if let's say they ask you to state the value of your basic angle, okay, so I want you to find for me, basic angle equals to what? Okay, and I want to know your sine, cos, and tangent. In terms of your basic angle, meaning you have to compare back to your basic angle. That's why we have to know the difference between the basic angle and the theta. Okay or not? So for here, remember what I told you just now, if for the third quadrant, you have to take your 180 plus your basic angle to get your theta. But in this case, you are given theta. So if you want to find your basic angle, you have to take theta minus 180. Agree? So you will have your 217 minus your 180. And then you will get your answer 37. So remember I told you basic angle, acute angle. Okay? And then you have to look at your sine, cos, tangent. You have to look which one's positive and which one is negative. Yes, very good, Zhen Hong. Okay, so in the third quadrant, right, I say what? All science teachers. So only T is positive. This will be negative, right? So put your negative, negative, this one's positive. So it will be negative sine 37, the basic angle, and this one will be negative cos 37. Okay or not? Yeah, then tangent 37, you're right. Yes, very good, very good. I see that you all getting it. Okay, and then let's say another example, if you are given an obtuse angle, okay, let's say your theta is 125. Now, just to show you, right, remember what I said that, like just now we agreed, right, your basic angle will always start from the x-axis of that quadrant, like over here, right, this will be your basic angle. Okay, like over here, your basic angle will be this one. Follow or not? Alright, so same thing. Find for me what is your basic angle and then your sine, cos, and tangent. Okay, Okay, so basic angle, remember it is in the second quadrant. So if it's in the second quadrant, you have to take your 180 minus your 125. And then after that, look, is your sine, cos and tangent positive or negative? Very good, very good. You are participating well. Okay, so 55, right? Then second quadrant, okay, because it is an obtuse angle in the second quadrant. So second quadrant, only sine is positive, right? So if only sine is positive, you have to put a negative here. This one will be your sine 55, but with the negative. Okay or not? Ah, sorry, my bad. Must say. Thank you, guys. Okay, last one. If your angle is 293, tell me which quadrant will your angle be in? Angle 293, tell me is it the first, second, or the third quadrant? Right? And then your basic angle will be here. So to find your basic angle, remember? Yeah, why? It's in the fourth quadrant. Remember, because here is until 90, here is until 180, here is until 270, therefore 293 is more than 270, therefore in the fourth quadrant. Okay or not? Infinite symbol where? Zheng Hong, what infinite symbol? You mean this? This is the theta, basic angle. Yeah. Okay, so it's in your fourth quadrant. I want you to find for me what is your basic angle, then your sine, cos, tangent. Okay, so basic angle 67. Then like I told you, look again is in the fourth quadrant. Okay, so fourth quadrant, so all science teacher crazy, meaning cos is only positive, the rest must be negative, right? So this one will become sine 67. And then that's it, you're done. Okay, now we're going to do the other way around. If I give you, this one is, you are given the theta, you are supposed to find the basic angle. But now I'm going to give you the basic angle and you are going to find the theta for me. Okay, so if your basic angle is 51, I want you to tell me what is your theta. Okay, remember what I told you, theta must always start from the x-axis in the first quadrant all the way until where the line you draw for the basic angle, right? So like I said, it must be from here all the way until here. This will be your theta. Alright, so to get your theta, what must you do? Yes, very good, Event. 360 minus 57, right? Which is that the answer that Marine gave, 309. Right, so this will be your theta. 51. Okay? 51 is the basic angle. 51 is the basic angle. Okay, so now after you find the theta, they will ask you to find what is your sine theta, cos theta, and tangent theta. So basically, your sine 309, right? And again, look which quadrant is it in? In the fourth quadrant, right? So in the fourth quadrant, only cos is positive. Therefore, your sine and tangent will be negative of, remember, the sine or cos or tangent of your basic angle. So it will be sine 51. Okay or not? Again. Okay? Okay, I'm going to give you another two more questions and I want you to tell me the answer. Okay, the ones that I gave you are your basic angles. I want you to find for me the theta and your sine, cos, and tangent. Okay, so your theta, right, is in the second quadrant, is an obtuse angle. Therefore, you have to take your 180 minus 73. Okay, and then you will get your answer 107. Oh, sorry, Sam, the number is 73 and 42 for your basic angle. Okay, so if you take your 180 minus 73, which is your basic angle, right, you will get 107, which is your theta. Okay, and then remember, every time when you are finding sine, cos, or tangent of your theta, we have to compare it to your basic angle. That's why you need to know the difference between your basic angle and your theta. Okay, so in the second quadrant, only sine is positive, right? So this will be negative, negative. Okay, okay, and then the next angle, it is in the third quadrant. So third quadrant, right, you have to take 180 plus your basic angle, correct? Because this is the straight angle, and then you have 42 here. So in order to get your theta, you have to take 180 plus your basic angle. Right? And then again, okay, so in the third quadrant, T is positive, right? Tangent is positive, the rest is negative. Sine of your basic angle, okay or not? Okay, now I'm not going to draw for you anymore. I'm going to give you the angle, right? And then you think, how can I get my basic angle, my sine, cos, and tangent given the theta? So I'll give you the theta, right? And then I want you to tell me what's your basic angle, your sine, cos, and tangent of that angle. Okay, so first one, okay, first things first, always try to, draw it out. Yes, it's kind of straightforward because all you need to do is remember your sine, cos, tangent and your basic angle and how to find your theta, that's all. Right? So if you are given the theta, you always draw it out first or ask yourself which quadrant is it in. So if let's say 152 is the obtuse angle, then obviously it's in the second quadrant, right? So second quadrant, remember what I tell you? If this is an obtuse angle in the second quadrant, then in order to get your basic angle, we have to take 180 minus 152, right? And then after that, same thing, you want to find your sine, cos, tangent, right? You have to find your, ask yourself whether it's positive or negative in that quadrant. Okay, so second quadrant, which one's positive? Only sine, right? So here will be negative, negative, so sine 28. Okay? Okay, if your angle is 296 for your theta, what is your basic angle? Right? So 64 is your basic angle. Then again, in the fourth quadrant, because remember more than 270, so this is already in the fourth quadrant. So if it's in the fourth quadrant, again, which one is positive? Only cos, right? Only cos. Okay? Okay, good. Now, application. Since you get this part already, right? Remember what I said, things that you need to find basic angles, theta, your sine, cos, and tangent, but you have to use the corresponding basic angle to get those. Now, I want you to write down this question and solve it for me. Okay, can see or not? Okay, always look at the question. 0 to 360, meaning they could be in any of the four quadrants, right? And then they say tangent theta equals to negative tangent 27. So you know that 27 is your basic angle. Okay? And tangent negative, which quadrant is tangent negative? So remember, all this is all positive already. All science teacher crazy. So which one is the negative tangent? Negative tangent meaning it will be here and here, correct? in the second and the fourth quadrant, right? So we know that if let's say your basic angle is 27 over here, you will have one answer that goes from here to here. This will be your theta, or I mean two values of theta, right? Two possible values because it could be the second and the fourth. And then another one, your basic angle will be here also 27. Therefore, this is your theta 1. Your theta 2 can be all the way until here. Right? So for the second quadrant value, right, if this is 27, if you want to get this, you have to take 180 minus 27, right? For your theta 2, if you want to get this value, you have to take your 360 minus your 27. Okay or not? Very good, Steph. Okay, now what I've been teaching you, right, for all these, the answers are for positive angles. Okay, what if you have negative angles? So remember for your positive angles, right, I told you that you will start from your x-axis in the first quadrant, right, moving in the anti-clockwise direction. But what if you have negative angles? You have to start from the x-axis, right, in the fourth quadrant. That means we are labeled these are negative angles. Okay, for negative angles, we start from the x-axis here also, but we are going to move in the clockwise direction now instead of anti-clockwise. Alright? So if let's say you have like negative 135, right? Then remember we will start here, we will end here, your obtuse angle. Okay or not? For negative angles, you have to start that way. So now instead of it being in the second quadrant, it's in the third quadrant. Right? And then if let's say they ask you to find your sine, cos, and tangent for this angle, you still write as normal. And you still consider the sine, cos, tangent for that quadrant. But because now it's in the third quadrant, only tangent will be positive, right? In the third quadrant. So this will be negative, negative, this will be positive. And then, oh yeah, you have to find your basic angle. So, what do you get when you minus? Okay, so here will be sine 45. Yes, very good. Okay, and remember your basic angle, right, doesn't have positive or negative to it. The positive and negative, right, comes from which quadrant that angle is found in. Okay, so similar to just now, right, I want you to tell me two values of W. Okay, so remember I told you I start from the x-axis, but move in the clockwise direction. Okay, so you got to sketch out first where where is your basic angle? For your basic angle is 32, but which quadrant does it lie in so that your sign will be negative? So not in the first quadrant because all is positive, not the second quadrant, right? So it's in the third and the fourth quadrant. Okay? So again, your basic angle will be here and here. And don't forget, now because it is negative, we are reading from the clockwise direction, meaning in this case, the basic angle is the same as your theta, right? And then same thing here. If you read until here, you have to take your 180 minus your 32. Oh, but in this case, it's plus. Okay? So your value, right, your theta will be, what's your delta value? So do like normal, right? Your 180 minus your 32, but then this should be the negative because you're negative value, negative angle. Okay or not? Okay, if you're done, we're going to move up to 4.2. I know you're hungry. Just bear with me for a while, can? I'll try to stress on the important points for you. Okay, now for trigonometric functions, right, there are three graphs that you need to memorize. Okay, the general shape, the maximum, the minimum point, and where it cuts the x-axis you need to know. Okay, so the first graph that you need to memorize is y equals to sine theta. Okay, so when you have y equals to sine theta, the shape will be an S shape like this. Okay, whereby it cuts the x-axis at 0, 180, and 360. Okay, and your here, right, your maximum will be 1, your minimum will be negative 1. Okay, so at 90 and 270, this will be the value, your x value for your maximum and minimum. Okay or not? Okay, and this is one full period or one cycle. So one period or cycle, one full cycle will be 360 degrees. Okay, complete. Okay, next one is your cost graph. Okay, so I have labeled for you all the important points that you need to put in. Yeah, what? No, sorry. Oh, this theta. Y equals to sine theta. Okay. The second one also y equals to cos theta. Okay, meaning that whatever values for your theta, right, your x values that you put into here, like let's say if you put in like 0 in here, when you press the calculator for 0, you will get 1. Alright, so that's the function of your graph. Okay, so remember the important points, right, that I told you. For your sine graph, you have 0, 180, and 360 at your x-axis, okay? And the maximum of your graph is 1 at 90 degrees, -1 minimum at 270 degrees. Okay, for your cos graph, it's actually kind of like cutting half of this, right? And then putting this at the back to get your cos graph. Right? So where it cuts the x-axis again, you need to remember all these important values. 90 and 270 cuts the x-axis, right? And then your minimum at -1 will be at 180, right? And your maximum is 1 at 0 and 360 degrees. Okay. Okay, one more graph, tangent graph. Okay, so for your tangent graph, look, this is what we call a non-continuous graph. Okay, because it's like kind of like broken into three parts, right? You have this, and you have this. Okay, at 90 and your 270, right? These are your asymptotes. Remember what I told you, asymptotes? That means when you extend your graph, it might get nearer and nearer to the asymptote, but it will never touch the asymptote because we do not have any solutions on those lines. Okay, so remember where your asymptotes are at 90 and 270. Okay, and if you look at your tangent graph, one period or one complete cycle is 180 and not 360. Okay, because if you look at this graph, right, 1, 2, and then if I draw for you a line here, you can see, right, this curve, this curve, this curve, this curve, right? So actually one complete cycle is only 180 degrees and not 360. Oh yeah, for your tangent graph, there's one more thing I want you to remember. Okay, tangent graph doesn't have a maximum or minimum, right? It can, if you extend this, it can keep going up, up, up. If you extend this down here, it can keep going down, down, down until we don't know when, right? So there is no maximum or minimum for the tangent graph. And then you need to remember that the x-intercepts are 0, 180, and 360. And I want you to also, if you can, remember where is it at 1? At 45, and also at, sorry, I label down here, I scared you cannot see, 225 degrees. Okay, and for your -1, right? Sorry, I label it different. Okay, then for your -1, you need to remember that it will be at 135 and 315. Yeah, right here. Okay, take note of all the important values you need to remember. Okay, we're almost done, so bear with me. Now remember I told you that if let's say, these are the general shapes of the graph, the sine, cos, and tangent graph, the x-intercept, the y-intercept, the maximum, the minimum, right? These are if there is no plus and minus behind and if there is no number in front of the sine, cos, or tangent. Okay, but what if you have a y equals to sine x plus 2? Now, remember what I told you? If you have a plus or minus at the back here, right, it means that your entire graph, okay, your baseline and your entire graph is shifted up by 2 units. Okay, so if let's say usually it's that one, right? Your 0, 180, and 360 are your x-intercept, but right now it is at 2. Okay, so that means like this is your baseline. So when you draw, you will draw the S shape over here, correct? And your shape will be, yeah, I think I know too high. Right, so your baseline will be here, it's moved up by 2. And then when you draw, you get a graph that looks like this. Can follow or not? Because usually your minimum will be at -1, right? But then it's moved up by 2, right? So it will now be at 1 instead. Okay or not? So remember, the plus minus at the back right tells you whether the graph move up or move down. Okay, so your maximum will be at 3 now instead of 1 because it moves up by 2. Remember all the values plus 2 because it go up. Sorry. Okay? Okay, wait. The max will be at 3, right? Yes. All your values move up by 2. So like say, if let's say like this is at 0, right? If this is at 0, now it will be at 2. If this is at 1, then it will be at 3. Then the same thing here will be at 2, and then move up by 2, 0, 1, and then this one will be at 2 also. Okay? Okay, I need to sketch another graph for me. Are you all done with the 3 graphs? Oh, erase the first 2. Okay, now sketch this graph for me in your book. Okay, but before that, listen to me first. Okay, if it is, I think it's better for you to draw it in your book so that you know, like, what does the plus and minus mean. It's just for practice, lah. Okay, then if you have your y equals to 2 cos minus 2 cos x minus 1, remember, minus 1 again means the entire graph moved down by 1. Okay, And then what does this 2 in front mean? Okay, when you have a number in front of your sine, cos, or tangent, that number tells you the amplitude of your graph. That means your maximum or minimum, how tall your mountain or how low your value will be for that graph, right? So if you're plotting a cos x graph, right? So your entire values will shift down by 1, correct? So usually I told you your 90 and your 270 will be at 0, but now it will be at -1. And then where will your maximum be? Usually it's at 1, right? But now it moved down by 1, so it will be at, okay or not? Okay, so like I told you, your maximum and minimum, right, now will be times 2 instead of just 1. So your normal, the amplitude, right, will only be 1, correct? But if you look here, it's from -1 until -3. There's a difference of 2 over here from the baseline. Okay, so it's been doubled. Okay, and I don't think I need to go through the rest with you. Okay, we're done for 4.2. Okay, okay, ready? We're going to solve it now. So let's say you're given angle x, right? Your range is from 0 to 360, right? And they tell you that, let's say x sine x equals to negative 0.6691. Okay, if we are going to solve this, right, the first thing you need to look at is, number one, you have to find what is your basic angle. Number two, ask yourself, if sine is negative, which quadrant will it be in, right? So in order to find your basic angle, remember, because you want to get x, right, you have to shift sign of your 0.6691. Now, listen to me, you do not type in negative into your calculator. Okay, you do not type in negative to your calculator. Attention, the 2 right in front stands for the depth of the height of this is double from the original. That's what it means. Yes, thank you, teacher Tim. Negative 1 is the baseline because it moved down by 1. Okay or not? Okay, good. Then let's continue for your 4.3. So remember, when you want to find your basic angle from here, you need to, what do you mean? You mean you don't get why the points are over here, is it? Yeah, move down by 1. Got because usually it's at here, right? 90 and 270. But then now it moves down by 1, it's at negative 1. The way you get 3, why the point is at 1? That's true. Okay, give me a second. Okay. Huh? 2 cos? No. 2, the 2 is the amplitude. Amplitude means the where you start from your baseline to your minimum or to your maximum. It means, yeah, negative 1 means it moves down by 1. Yeah, so no, so you start from the negative 1, right? Then usually it will be at negative 2, right? If it's just minus 1. But because the amplitude is double, so now it's at negative 3 instead of negative 2. Okay? Can or not? The baseline is at negative 1. And then usually the amplitude is just 1, so it's a negative 2. But because now you have the 2 in front, yeah, means the depth of it is 2. Okay, everybody clear? Amplitude is the height from the baseline to the minimum or from the baseline to the maximum. That's your amplitude. Okay. Okay, everybody clear for 4.2, right? So I'm going to move on to 4.3. Okay, so as I was saying, if let's say you get a sign with a negative value, right? If you want to find the basic angle, you need to move this over there, become shift sign of that value. But when you press into your calculator, you do not press negative because the negative only tells you which quadrant that the angle lies in. Okay, so don't press negative when you're pressing your calculator. Alright, so find your basic angle and then round it off to 1 decimal place for me. Okay, so you get 41.9976 something, right? So round it off to one decimal, you get 42.0. So that's your basic angle. Okay, then after that, you need to see, that's your basic angle. Now we have to draw which quadrant is it in. For sine negative, so third and fourth, correct? So your basic angle will be here and here. Okay, and then you have to find the two values of your theta or your x. So remember, start from your x-axis in your first quadrant all the way until here, or the other one could be from the start until the other point, which is here. Okay, so you get 222 or 318 because for this part, right, remember you got to take x equals to 180 plus your 42. And then here, you have to take your 360 minus your 42. Okay? Okay, how do you know whether it's anti-clockwise or clockwise? For your positive angles, right? I told you just now, for your positive angles, you have to move anti-clockwise. For your negative angles, we move clockwise, always from the x-axis of here, this quadrant, right? So if it's positive angles, you move this way. If it's negative angle, you start from here, but you're moving this way. Okay, clear? Okay, let's try another one. Okay, remember what I tell you? First thing first, find your basic angle. After that, look at the sign in front of the value. Is it positive or negative? Which quadrant does it lie in? Okay, so your basic angle, remember, shift cos of your, then round off to one decimal place, you get 78.0. Okay, then remember, cos is positive, so it's in which quadrant? First and fourth. So your basic angle will be here, 78 and 78. And I told you right just now, your theta will be the same as your basic angle for the first quadrant here, right? And then the other one, you have to take your 360 minus your 78 because it's this entire angle here. Okay? Okay, for this question, okay, right? Just remember, find your basic angle, find which quadrant it lies in, and then after that, find the values of your x or your theta. Okay? Now, the next question, right? If you give find sign given this, okay, I want you to find the following. Okay. I think we should stop here and you all go for lunch first. Can you all finish up this question for me first? Or you try it on your own and then when we come back, we'll discuss this one, okay? Actually the rest if you can. Okay, how about, yeah, the rest of it, right? Can you look at your slides? Because all you have to do is make sure if you are given an equation, you just have to move all the values to the right hand side to make sure you're left with sine, cos, tangent, and then do the same thing again. Find your basic angle and then find which quadrant does it lie in, and after that you can find the values already. It's actually the same thing. Okay or not? You're okay? Okay. Very quickly, what's your basic angle for your 304? Oh, you need to shift sign your 0.83 first. No, sorry. You need to find what's your basic angle first for your 304. Yes, very good. You're right. Okay, then yeah, yes, very good. Then remember sign for that one, right? Your 304, which quadrant? I mean, you have to look at your basic angle. So it's 56, right? That you found, and because it's in the negative, is it negative value? 304 is in your fourth quadrant. So in that quadrant, sign is negative, only cos is positive. So you get negative 0.83. They give you the values, right, for your sine 56 and your cos 67 is for your basic angle. So you got to relate your basic angle to the theta or the x that they give you. Okay or not? Your final answer should be negative 2.05. Guys, okay? Did you get the answer? You need to show me. Do you need me to show you? Same answer. What do you mean by that? Zheng Hong, no? Okay, let's do it together. Okay, yeah, okay. The first thing you need to do is find your basic angle for both these angles, right? Because I told you if like you're given the x or the theta, we need to find the basic angle so that we can, yeah, I'm showing now, so that we can solve it, right? So for your 304 is in the fourth quadrant. So if you take your 360 minus 304, you will get your basic angle, which is 56, right? This is your basic angle. Okay, now after you get your basic angle, remember in this case, right, you have to look, is your sign positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? Is it positive or negative in the fourth quadrant? is negative, right? Because we already said just now that only cos is positive. So you will get negative sine 56, which is what is given over here, negative 0.83. Okay or not? Then do the same thing for your 113. Okay, so find your basic angle for this one. Your 113, right? What's your basic angle? This is a optics angle, right? So 180 minus your 113, you will get your basic angle here, which is 67. Okay or not? Then again, look at what is given here. It says cos, right? So because you want to compare it to your basic angle, you need to know cos in that quadrant, right? The second quadrant, is it positive or negative? Negative, right? So you're given the value here, so negative 0.39. Okay or not? Then because you already have all your values for your cos 113 and your sin 304, you can answer the question that they ask you. Press your calculator, get the answer. Okay? Any part you don't understand? Guys, okay or not? If no questions, then you can go for lunch already. Right, find your basic angle first. And then again, same thing, ask which quadrant does it lie in. Is the sine, cos, and tangent positive or negative? Right, and then after that, find the value. Okay, okay, if there's no question, we shall end here. Thanks, guys. Bye.